Guys, before we start today's video, let me clear up something funny. You'll notice that whenever the name Donald Trump or Adolf Hitler comes up, instead of their photo, you'll just see a fox picture. And I know what you're thinking. Wait, why a fox? Where's Trump? Well, the reason is simple. My AI simply refuses to create their images. The moment I type Trump or Hitler's name, the AI goes like, nope, not doing this. And I am not just saying it. In the background, you'll be watching my recording where I actually tested it. As soon as Trump or Hitler's name shows up, the AI refuses. But when I remove the name, suddenly it works fine. Like the AI has its own politics. And the funniest part, in my last video about Kim Jong, the AI happily generated his photo with no problem at all. So yeah, it looks like my AI only has issues with Trump and Hitler. Alright guys, now that this funny thing is clear, whenever you see a fox picture on the screen, just understand that it actually means Trump or Hitler, because my AI refuses to show their real images. So don't get confused. Fox equals Trump or Hitler. Now that you know the trick, let's start the video. Whether it was the ceasefire between India and Pakistan, the one between Iran and Israel, or his bold statements about completely destroying Iran's nuclear sites, Donald Trump's claims have always been a target for critics. Many say his statements are often incomplete, misleading, or contain very little truth. At one point, Trump announced to the world that an attack had taken place on Iran's nuclear facilities, and declared that Iran's nuclear program had been obliterated forever. He emphasized the word obliterate, to make it clear that Iran's program had been wiped out from its very roots. However, later reports revealed that Iran's nuclear sites had actually suffered very little damage. This intelligence report, prepared by the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency DIA, was leaked to the media. When the reports were published, Trump lashed out at CNN and the New York Times, demanding that the journalists who worked on the story be fired. But instead of calming suspicions, Trump's reaction only strengthened the belief that the report was true. Interestingly, Iran's own Amwaj media also reported, later, that Iran had been informed about the attack in advance, and that it would only be carried out once. But this was not the first time Donald Trump's lies had been exposed. His life and career are filled with false claims, scandals, and controversies. Today, let's take a deeper look at some of the most infamous lies and misleading statements made by Donald Trump. Welcome once again to Portal2V Videos. According to fact-checkers, Donald Trump has made thousands of false or misleading claims throughout his career. The Washington Post recorded 35,730 false or misleading statements during his first term as president, meaning he lied on average 21 times every single day. The Toronto Star in Canada counted 5,276 false statements between 2017 and 2019 alone. Initially, many media outlets hesitated to call Trump's falsehoods lies, but after June 2019, they began openly calling them lies. Trump's close associate, Steve Bannon, who served as CEO of his 2016 election campaign, once said that Trump's real enemy was not the Democrats, but the press. His strategy was to create such confusion and release so many statements that people would not be able to focus on any single issue. After the 2020 U.S. presidential election, Trump and his supporters repeatedly made false claims of widespread voter fraud, insisting that if not for the fraud, he would have won.
This is a fraud on the American public. We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election.
Many critics compared this to Hitler's propaganda strategy, known as the Big Lie, telling a falsehood so massive that people believe it simply because of its scale. The New Republic, a respected American magazine, described Trump's statements not just as lies, but as bullshit words with no real meaning. Many professors, analysts, and political observers agree that while politicians have always lied, Trump is something entirely different. In 2017, American ethnologist Carol McGranahan said that lying in politics was common, but Trump was a leader who had elevated the act to an art form. Historian Douglas Brinkley noted that while U.S. presidents had occasionally misled the nation, no president had ever lied so frequently and habitually as Donald Trump. Some experts even claim that Trump may be the biggest liar in U.S. history. At one point, he even instructed his press secretary, Stephanie Grisham, to simply keep repeating false claims until people started believing them. When she later resigned, Grisham revealed to the media that Trump had told her. This psychological tactic is known as the illusory truth effect. Adolf Hitler also used this method, repeating a falsehood so frequently that it begins to feel like the truth. In 2018, the Washington Post created a new fact-check category called the Bottomless Pinocchio for politicians who repeated the same false claim more than 20 times. Shockingly, Donald Trump was the first and only politician to immediately have 14 statements placed in this category, proving that he knowingly and repeatedly lied. CNN's fact-checker Daniel Dale also confirmed that Trump churned out so many lies so quickly that the media simply could not keep up. His strategy was simple: overwhelm the press with falsehoods, so they couldn't track them all. Let's go back to 2011. For the first time, Donald Trump publicly claimed that President Barack Obama was not born in the United States. He said,
"He doesn't have a birth certificate, or he hasn't shown it. He has what's called a certificate of live birth. That is something that's easy to get."
For the next 5 years, Trump repeatedly claimed in interviews and at campaign rallies that Obama had been born in Kenya, not the US. This claim became so common that millions of Americans actually began to doubt Obama's citizenship. Eventually, Obama was forced to release his birth certificate, proving once and for all that he had been born in Hawaii in 1961. But instead of admitting he was wrong, Trump shifted the blame onto others. In 2016, he finally admitted that Obama was born in the US, but falsely accused Hillary Clinton of being the first person to spread the birther rumor. The BBC later confirmed that Hillary Clinton had never made such a claim. Experts say Trump doesn't just lie. He spreads what philosopher Harry Frankfurt called bullshit. According to Frankfurt's famous book on bullshit 2005, a liar knows the truth but deliberately hides it, while a bullshitter doesn't care whether what he's saying is true or false. Journalist Eduardo Porter from The Washington Post argues that this definition perfectly describes Trump. For example, when Trump became president, he blamed previous US administrations for high unemployment and inflation without even checking the actual statistics. Trump's habit of lying goes back decades. In 1984, GQ magazine profiled him and exposed his false claim that he owned an entire block on Central Park South. In reality, he owned only 2 buildings, just 1/6 of the block. That same year, he also lied about his net worth to get onto Forbes' list of the top 400 richest Americans. He claimed he was worth $500 million, when in fact he was worth only $200 million. Even worse, audio recordings later revealed that Trump had impersonated his own spokesperson, calling reporters under the fake name John Barron to inflate his wealth. Because of this, Forbes editor Randall Lane has said that for the past 30 years, the magazine has always calculated Trump's wealth by simply taking whatever number he claims and dividing it by 3. After the stock market crash of 1987, Trump told the media that he had sold all his stocks a month before and lost nothing. But SEC filings revealed that Trump actually lost $19 million in the crash. The list of Trump's false claims is endless. In 2009, Trump bought a golf course in Florida and renamed it the Trump National Golf Club. He had a monument built there claiming that a bloody Civil War battle had been fought on that very land, and that so many soldiers died the river had turned red with blood. His name appeared at the bottom of the monument, as if he were a historian. But professional historians quickly debunked the story, saying no such battle had ever taken place there. Trump has also falsely claimed to have won the golf club championship 18 times. In reality, he only won twice. The other 16 titles came from clubs he either owned or controlled, where members later revealed they had been threatened with losing their memberships if they ever tried to beat him. Tony Schwartz, the ghostwriter of Trump's book The Art of the Deal, later admitted that Trump had fed him lies as well. For example, Trump claimed his grandfather was American-born, when in fact he was German. Trump wanted to hide this fact because of anti-German sentiment in the US after World War II. During his 2016 campaign, Trump claimed that in his 2000 book, The America We Deserve, he had predicted the 9/11 attacks by Osama bin Laden. He said he warned that bin Laden should be killed, but this was not true. The book contains no such warning. In fact, Osama bin Laden had already been on America's most wanted list since 1998, years before Trump even wrote the book. Because of these constant lies, factcheck.org gave Trump the award of King of Whoppers in 2015, just 6 months after he announced his candidacy. They said that in their 12-year history, no politician had ever lied as much as Trump. Trump has also spread bizarre conspiracy theories. During the 2016 Republican primaries, he claimed that Senator Ted Cruz's father was involved in the assassination of President John F. Kennedy.
His father was with Lee Harvey Oswald prior to Oswald's being, shot.
He repeated the lie so many times that it damaged Cruz's campaign even, though it had no basis in fact. In 2016, when asked about the Ku Klux Klan KKK and its former leader David Duke, who publicly endorsed him, Trump pretended not to know them. He said, "Who is David Duke? What is the KKK?" His ignorance shocked many, since every American child knows about the KKK's racist, violent history. Critics believed he was pretending, because admitting Duke's support would have damaged his campaign. Trump's history of racism also goes back decades. In 1970, the U.S. Department of Justice sued Trump and his father for refusing to rent apartments to black tenants. In 1991, Trump said he didn't like hiring black accountants. He also repeatedly insulted Mexican immigrants, calling them rapists and criminals. For many experts, this shows that there is little difference between Trump's worldview and that of white supremacist groups like the KKK. The story of Donald Trump's lies is so long that it is nearly impossible to cover in a single video. But one thing is certain, no American president has ever been caught lying as often as Trump. And yet, in April 2022, while addressing a rally in North Carolina, Trump declared with a straight face, "I am the most honest person in the world." His audience burst out laughing. Friends, what do you think? Are Donald Trump's lies just a part of politics? Or is he truly the biggest liar among world leaders? Share your opinion in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe.